Good day, everybody. It's Andrew here, and welcome back to my channel. We have a huge update from Nancy Pelosi as she plans to try and get the stimulus package done this week. So let's discuss the details in this video, but before we do, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I also have a second channel, so do me a huge favor. Click on the link that's in the comments of this video. Subscribe to my second channel. I'm going to be giving away a stimulus check on that channel just as a thank you for supporting my work. And again, on that channel, we're going to have updates as well, but it's going to be mixed in with more of an entertainment type of theme, like playing games like bingo, casino games, playing the lottery, kind of a community to distract yourself from the news while still having a little bit of updates sprinkled in, if that kind of makes sense. So to everyone who's already subscribed, thank you so much. I will begin posting there in a couple of weeks, and I will be giving away multiple stimulus checks on that channel. I think we're going to start out with like a weekly stimulus check giveaway and maybe even do even more than that, depending on how big the channel grows. But thanks for your support. The link to that channel is going to be in the comments of this video. Now, Nancy Pelosi wants to get this stimulus package done this week. And this article is titled, Nancy Pelosi says she hopes to wrap up talks on the Democrats' big social spending bill today, and people are questioning whether or not that's realistic. Now, to back up, we have some groups pushing for a $1,400 stimulus checks for seniors, which would probably apply to everyone on SSI and SSDI as well. And Bernie Sanders is trying to include this via a debit card in this stimulus package. So that's kind of in the maybe pile right now. It may or may not make it into this package, and it also may or may not be $1,400, $1,000, and President Biden even said it could be as small as $800, right? He said that last week. Now, that is currently in the maybe pile for this package. Now, Nancy Pelosi has been pushing progressives to try and get the stimulus package done this week, and progressives recently said something that signaled that they might actually be willing to approve it. Now, to back up a little bit again, remember we had Nancy Pelosi trying to get the physical stimulus plan this week done, but then we had progressives like Jayapal saying that she would not vote to approve that unless the stimulus check package was first approved in the Senate. Well, just last night, she conceded. So Jayapal, which is the representative from Washington, one of the most progressive and liberal representatives in this country in the House, she said that she concedes the infrastructure plan, the physical stimulus plan, will likely become law before the stimulus check package, but she hopes that the stimulus check package will get done soon. And she said hopefully sometime in November before Thanksgiving. Now, obviously, that's a longer timeline than Nancy Pelosi is saying because she wants to get the stimulus packages, both of them, done this week. Now, currently, they are trying to wrap up the details because last week, President Biden gave a framework for the deal. Now, that framework was essentially what President Biden thought was realistic, right? So he met with progressives, he met with conservatives, and he said, guys, this is the framework that the White House believes will pass because it is a true compromise between progressives and conservatives. Well, progressives are currently working on adding things, right? We've talked about it on this channel. Bernie Sanders is trying to add more funding for Medicare. He's trying to make sure those $1,400 stimulus checks make it into this package. He's trying to include vision, dental, and hearing care in this package. Now, President Biden is trying to only include hearing care in the Medicare expansion, but Bernie Sanders is still hoping to get vision and dental as well. And that $1,400 stimulus check is tied in with this expansion because the main reason Bernie Sanders wants to do that stimulus check for seniors is to help you pay for medical expenses. Now, I've had a lot of questions like, do you have to spend it on medical expenses? The expectation is it's going to be a debit card. So if it does make it into the stimulus package, you could spend it anywhere Visa is accepted, right? So I keep saying that on my videos. We don't know for certain, but if it's a debit card, it's going to be it'll be difficult for the government to give you a debit card and say, oh, but you can only use it at the dental office, right? Because I don't even think debit cards like that exist that can limit where you can use them, right? But that's currently what we expect. Bernie Sanders is pushing to include more things in this stimulus package, and not just Bernie Sanders, other progressives as well. They're trying to include a lot of things that President Biden took out of the framework, like paid family leave for those who have babies, paid medical leave for those who are sick, basically making these a federal law that your job has to give you these things. They have to give you paid medical leave for certain medical conditions. They have to give you paid family leave when you have a kid for at least 4 to 12 weeks, right? These things were taken out of the framework, and progressives are trying to put back in. And Bernie Sanders is pushing really, really hard to include that $1,400 stimulus check. And again, it could be $1,400, it could be $1,000, or it could be as low as $800. And then we're waiting to find out who exactly would qualify, because we've talked about it on my videos. What exactly qualifies as a senior? Typically, it's people 65 and older, but then usually when they do stimulus for Social Security, it applies to SSI and SSDI as well. So we still don't have confirmation, but we expect those groups to qualify for this check as well. And then they said this would be for people on Medicare. So would you have to be on Medicare, or could you just be on SSI, SSDI, and Social Security? If you're on Medicare, do you have to have Part B or Part D, or can you just have Part A? So there's a lot of things that are still unclear. But Nancy Pelosi said that by today, she is hoping to wrap up the details of that bill, right? Because last week, President Biden gave the framework, and now they're working on the details of exactly what they're going to add and potentially take out of that framework. So Nancy Pelosi said in a meeting this morning to Democrats that she hopes to finish talks by midday today with a rules hearing tomorrow. So that rules hearing basically goes through the framework, it goes through the text of the bill that they write, and it says, okay, these things are allowed, these things are not allowed. And once they do that, they scrutinize the bill, and they're planning on doing that tomorrow, which is Wednesday. That would set up a vote to potentially happen on Thursday or Friday, right? So that means potentially it could happen this week. Now, some of the outstanding issues are immigration, negotiating prescription drug costs, which, remember, Kyrsten Sinema does not want to do. Kyrsten Sinema is the moderate Democrat from Arizona, the senator from Arizona, and climate change, which these initiatives from climate change are what Joe Manchin has a problem with, right? Because West Virginia, which is the state where he's from, has a large coal industry, right? So climate initiatives are kind of difficult for Joe Manchin to get on board with. So as far as prescription drug costs, this is something that was huge for seniors that is supposed to be in this stimulus package. And the AARP is constantly advocating for seniors, urging Congress to allow Medicare to negotiate prescription drug costs to lower the burden that seniors face when it comes to medications. Now, most of the burden in this country when it comes to prescription drugs falls on seniors, right? And the fact that Kyrsten Sinema does not want to allow Medicare to negotiate drug prices is completely unacceptable, because that cost almost completely ends up being put on the shoulders of seniors. And guys, let me know in the comments if you agree. It's completely ridiculous, especially when you take into account that the VA administration, the Veterans Affairs, are allowed to negotiate drug costs. So in many cases, they pay half the price for the same medication that Medicare does, right? So how does it make sense that we have two different government agencies paying different prices for medications? It really doesn't make sense, right? It goes to show that these lobbyists, these billionaires, these pharma companies, they give senators money like Kyrsten Sinema, and they vote against these bills that avoid common sense. I mean, why should the VA pay half the price that Medicare is paying? Medicare should be paying those lower prices as well. And now, because of this, a lot of people are calling for Kyrsten Sinema to be removed from office. A lot of people, specifically from Arizona, are saying they're not sure why they voted for her. This isn't what they expected from her. Then we even have people who are protesting her, showing up at events like weddings. She hosted a wedding the other day, and they were protesting at the wedding. She ran, I believe, a marathon the other day, and they were protesting at the marathon. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Should Kyrsten Sinema be removed from office if she doesn't support this stimulus package? But let's quickly take a look. This clip is going to interview people from Arizona, people who voted for Kyrsten Sinema, and it's going to give us their thoughts on what she's doing right now with this stimulus package.
Cal, take us to Arizona, because last week you were in West Virginia talking to Joe Manchin's voters. And while West Virginia might be a state ranking among the lowest in terms of health care, infrastructure, education, West Virginians know Manchin. They know him as a longtime senator. They know him as a former governor. Arizona is a different situation. What do people there know? What do they say about Kyrsten Sinema? Because those of us in the national media, she never talks to us. Does she talk to them?
No, and that's the biggest frustration, I think, when you talk to people here on the ground. And it's actually a frustration when you talk to Republicans who voted against her but support what she's doing. They'll say that she's doing it behind closed doors. She hasn't had any town hall meetings since she was elected. And while people may know Kyrsten Sinema because she's been a politician here for a long, long time, she has actually changed a great deal in that time. She was originally a member of the Green Party. All of that is adding to this frustration for Democrats who certainly want to see Arizona as a more liberal state, who voted for her 2 years ago. Those are the people who are really frustrated. I want to play for you some sound, Stephanie. The first person you're going to hear from identifies as a Republican, voted against Kyrsten Sinema 2 years ago. The last two pieces of sound you're going to hear are people who identify as Democrats and voted for her. Take a listen.
She is being independent in her negotiations and what she is doing. She's not falling to the pressure of the Democratic Party.
I think she's tilted too far to the right for my taste. I don't know that that's why people voted for her.
I hope she doesn't really screw things up, because that's the way it feels.
It is a fascinating game that she's playing, and I'm not sure people here really understand what the payoff could be. I'll echo what Peter sort of laid out, which is we really still don't know what is in this bill. We heard a lot of that in West Virginia. We're hearing a lot of that here in Arizona. The other thing that connects West Virginia and Arizona and where the president is headed in Glasgow is climate. A lot of people here talking about climate are very interested in those provisions making it into that reconciliation bill, Steph.
So obviously people across the country are frustrated with Kyrsten Sinema, but can you imagine how people in Arizona feel who voted for her? Imagine being in Arizona, voting for Kyrsten Sinema as a Democrat, and then having her completely block all of these initiatives in the stimulus package. And if you're from Arizona, let me know in the comments below. Now, we have people protesting Kyrsten Sinema, and I want to share this clip with you, and let me know if you think people are going too far. Now, this past week, she actually officiated a wedding. So her friends got married in Arizona. She was officiating the wedding, and protesters were outside the wedding screaming and heckling Kyrsten Sinema basically the entire time. Now, some people are saying, yes, protesting is our right as American citizens, and this is what we need to do to make sure that our senators know what the American people want. But at the same time, some people are saying, hey, her friend has nothing to do with this, and protesters kind of ruined her friend's wedding, right? So the bottom line here is people are growing more and more frustrated with Kyrsten Sinema, and the pressure is mounting more and more for her to get on board to approve this stimulus check package. But let's quickly watch this clip and see exactly what happened with these protests.
Biden and Chuck Schumer in Delaware to hash out details of the reconciliation package. Manchin, as we've covered on this show, has been an outspoken critic of the president's budget. According to the White House, the meeting was a productive discussion and Democrats continue to make progress. Meanwhile, Senator Kyrsten Sinema officiated a wedding in Arizona, and the nonstop protests that have dogged her everywhere followed her there as well. Julia Manchester, a reporter with The Hill, and Philip Wegman, White House reporter for Real Clear Politics, join us to discuss. Welcome to you both.
Thank you for having me.
So footage of the Arizona wedding was posted online over the weekend. Let's take a look at some of that.
This is a wedding. Do you know this is a wedding? It's a wedding. Hi, thanks for ruining my wedding. I really appreciate it.
You know what? She's ruining our life. That's I'm sorry.
It's just my wedding.
I know. You are.
Well, I really wish I could enjoy my wedding without you ruining it.
I'm an Ivy League educated white old man, and I've been destroyed by this economy. And that corruption stems from corporate power. And Sinema is taking corporate money to destroy us all. And climate will do it without her. So wake up! Woo! Woo! Why don't you get married to Donald Trump?
And the protesters did agree, actually, to be quiet throughout the ceremony. Here's this.
Can I just make a compromise? We're protesting Sinema. We're not protesting this bride. Let's just shut our mouths now. Let the ceremony begin. We can walk quietly with our signs. It's my daughter. I know. Okay. Please. Yeah.
So, Philip, what are you hearing about how close the White House is to a deal here? Are we likely?
Whether or not you think that these protesters went too far, let me know in the comments. But in any case, it's obvious. People are frustrated, and they were calling her out in those protests for taking money from pharmaceutical companies. She is getting donor money from billionaire companies, and then she has a conflict of interest because she doesn't want Medicare to lower drug costs because she's getting money from these pharmaceutical companies. Guys, it's completely unacceptable. As a senator, you're supposed to take care of the American people, not take care of these billionaire companies who are giving you money. And let me know in the comments if you agree. Seniors continue to struggle. She continues to get in the way of lowering drug costs, and she continues to get in the way of approving these $1,400 stimulus checks. And for me personally, I believe my duty on this channel is to stand up for seniors and stand up for those who are disabled, who don't have a voice in this country. I mean, we have President Biden, who has promised to increase Social Security benefits, lower drug costs, and approve stimulus checks for seniors, and we have yet to see any of these things come to fruition. Now, I do believe he plans on doing these things, and I do believe they will happen soon. It's just taking entirely too long. So guys, we have a huge push from Nancy Pelosi to get the stimulus package done this week, so we should have a lot of updates in the next couple of days. Now, will that come to fruition this week? We'll have to wait and see, but that is Nancy Pelosi's plan. Will it include the stimulus check for seniors, SSI, and SSDI? We'll have to wait and see as well. I hope so, and we have a lot of Democrats pushing to include it in this package, the most notable one being Bernie Sanders. So with that said, guys, don't forget to subscribe, and I will keep you posted as things develop on these next two stimulus packages, Social Security changes, and daily news updates as well. And thank you so much for watching. So until the next video, take care and have a great day.